Point USA movement is just trying to bring us back to a generation that we fought so hard to overcome.
Her message is a singular message. It is the Christian right. It is supporting MAGA. It is the ridiculous pageantry of Charlie Kirk's.
Erica Kirk is panicking right now, and it's no longer something she can hide behind a smile or a stage light. Fans are officially turning on her and on TPUSA, and the backlash is getting louder by the day. Events are getting boycotted, attendance is dropping, and protests are now following her wherever she goes. And here's the worst part for her. This is all happening at the exact moment people are digging deeper into her finances, her public behavior, and what she's really been doing behind the scenes since Charlie's death. The timing could not be more brutal. And that leaked audio? It did the exact opposite of blowing over.
I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy.
That recording spread fast, and once people heard Erica smiling, laughing, and casually talking about merch sales and voter numbers during Charlie's memorial, the mood completely shifted. For a lot of supporters, that was the breaking point. Suddenly, the mask slipped. People started saying out loud what they'd been thinking quietly for months, that this was never about values, faith, or honoring a legacy. To them, it looked like money first, image second, and everything else just an act. Now the pressure is stacking fast. Fans are walking away, donors are side-eyeing, and critics are circling like sharks. And on top of all that, rumors are swirling that the IRS may be taking a closer look at her finances. Nothing confirmed, just talk. But talk that has everyone watching her moves way more closely than before. And that brings us to her most recent event, because this is where things really boiled over. Turning Point USA kicked off the Make Heaven Crowded 2026 tour at Harvest Christian Church in Riverside. On paper,
Erika Kirk rabbit hole never ends. She has now began her speaking tour called Make Heaven Crowded with Pastor Greg Laurie, who is head of the Harvest Christian Fellowship Church. And Greg Laurie got hit with serious allegations and lawsuits, allegedly, including claims from survivors. And guess where? Romania.
it was supposed to be a clean reset, honoring Charlie's legacy and calling for some big Christian revival moment. But outside those doors, total chaos. Nearly 100 protesters showed up, signs in hand, voices raised, making it crystal clear that not everyone was buying what was being sold anymore. Outside the venue, things were already getting heated. Protesters were holding signs and making their message loud and clear. Some were calling out ICE over claims of people being detained and families being separated. Others were speaking up about what's happening in Gaza. And then there were signs pointing directly at lawsuits tied to Harvest Christian Fellowship and its lead pastor, Greg Laurie, over serious allegations. It wasn't one issue. It was everything crashing together at once. So while Erica was inside the church talking about faith, revival, and spiritual unity, a completely different conversation was happening right outside those doors. Two realities side by side, and instead of trying to calm the tension or even acknowledge why people were upset, Erica chose to go in the opposite direction. She didn't try to soften the moment. She didn't try to bridge the gap. Instead, she weighed in on the anti-ICE protests and straight up called them demonic. That was the word she used. And the second she said that, it poured gasoline on an already raging fire. People weren't just angry anymore. They felt dismissed, insulted, and painted as evil simply for speaking up. At that point, the optics got ugly fast. A lot of people felt like Erica didn't care how bad it looked. Pulling in a crowd seemed more important than who she partnered with or what message it sent. And that's when the uncomfortable questions really started rolling in. Because once emotions cool, people always follow the money. Since Charlie's death, Erica hasn't just been grieving. She's been fundraising nonstop, touring across the country, selling merch, and bringing in serious cash. These events aren't slowing down. They're being pushed harder than ever. And when you step back and look at the pace, the pressure, and the profits, it's hard not to wonder what's really driving all of this.
Thank you, Mr. President, for honoring my husband in such a profound and meaningful way. And thank you for making this event a priority amid the peace process in the Middle East. Thank you.
People started asking whether this was about faith anymore, or if it had turned into a business model. And for many critics, that question right there, profit versus purpose, might explain more than anything else happening right now. After Charlie was killed in September 2025, Erica didn't just step into his role at TPUSA, she stepped into an entirely new financial reality. And it happened fast. According to reports being discussed online, a massive amount of money started coming in from multiple directions within a very short window. We're talking numbers in the tens of millions, almost overnight, and that alone made people start paying closer attention. First, there was life insurance. Reports claim the policy paid out around $10 million, meant for Erica and their 2 children. That was just the beginning. Then came the donations. Public fundraising alone reportedly brought in close to another $10 million. One of the biggest fundraisers, promoted through Tucker Carlson's media brand, allegedly pulled in over $5 million by itself. That kind of money moves fast. And people noticed. On top of that, Erica became CEO of Turning Point USA. Charlie was reportedly making just under $400,000 a year, so many people assume her salary is at least that, if not more. And that's before factoring in everything else connected to the organization.
It was interesting because he asked her the question, do you think these protests are helping? Personally, I do not. I think it's demonic.
Earlier in 2025, the Scottsdale home was sold for over $5 million. After fees and settlements, reports say that left roughly $2 million in cash. Erica also continues to receive royalties from Charlie's books, and there are a lot of them, plus income tied to his media projects. Add in ownership stakes in for-profit companies like Resolute Media Group, which runs The Charlie Kirk Show, and the picture becomes even clearer. So financially, there's no question she landed very comfortably. And because all of this happened so quickly, the internet did what it always does. It started connecting dots. People online began floating theories about secret transfers, shell companies, closed-door meetings, and even rumors that Charlie may have changed his will before his death. None of that has been proven, but the speculation exploded anyway. And here's the part that really matters. Not the rumors themselves, but why so many people felt confident enough to ask these questions in the first place. Now, to be fair, a lot of those specific claims have already been looked into, and so far, they haven't held up.
You guys, where were Charlie Kirk's parents during his memorial service? I've been thinking about this for a couple of days, and I've been trying to look online. I'm no, I'm probably just missed it, right?
Fact checkers couldn't find any proof of a secret $350,000 transfer. The will change rumors? Those traced back to satire posts and fake videos that people took seriously. And the whole story about secret late-night meetings was later labeled misinformation that spread fast thanks to AI clips and pure online speculation. But here's the problem. Even with those rumors debunked, the optics are still terrible. When people hear numbers pushing past $20 million, watch non-stop fundraising, see tour dates stacking up, and then hear leaked audio casually talking about merch sales at a memorial, they stop caring about what's technically legal. They care about how it feels and how it looks. Erica has pointed to charitable acts as proof of good intentions. There was a widely shared $1 million donation from the Charlie Kirk Legacy Fund to help a 13-year-old battling cancer. And later that year, she accepted a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom for Charlie from Donald Trump. On paper, however, those moments were meant to reset the narrative and show honor, generosity, and respect. But for a lot of former supporters, the damage was already done.
Had over 275,000 people that attended, and stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then is it 100 million? We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think we're at over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps bumping up.
When money, grief, politics, and power all collide this fast, people stop giving the benefit of the doubt. They start asking harder questions, and once that door opens, it doesn't close easily. That's exactly why boycott talk and IRS rumors haven't gone away. And here's the thing, the IRS chatter didn't just pop up overnight. Conversations about a possible IRS look into TPUSA had been floating around for a while. At first, most people brushed it off as internet noise. But the fact that those discussions were already happening says a lot on its own. Because even before Charlie died, there were signs that he may not have been fully comfortable with how certain things were being handled behind the scenes. And that context changed how people viewed everything that came after. Not many people remember this part, but Charlie had reportedly wanted TPUSA's books audited, and that alone raised eyebrows. Think about it. If everything is clean and straightforward, why even bring up an audit? People don't usually ask for that unless something feels off behind the scenes. So when IRS rumors started circulating after his death, a lot of supporters didn't see it as random noise. To them, It felt connected. In their minds, this wasn't some wild internet theory. They believed it was something Charlie himself may have already been worried about, and that detail completely changed how people interpreted everything that came next. And then came the leaked audio, just 2 weeks after Charlie was killed. That's when things really shifted. A recording surfaced of Erica talking with her team, and instead of sounding like someone deep in grief, her tone caught people off guard. She sounded upbeat, energized, and focused. She talked about how successful the memorial was, about merch sales, packaging ideas, and how many people registered to vote. That didn't sit right with a lot of listeners, and what bothered people most was the timing. This wasn't a fundraiser months later. This wasn't a strategy meeting down the road. This was Charlie's memorial. Hearing it discussed in terms of numbers, momentum, and performance made it feel less like honoring him and more like running a campaign stop. To critics, it felt cold, less about remembering Charlie as a person.
What do you think about Erica Kirk?
Erica Kirk? Oh.
What do you think about Erica Kirk?
Would I get sued?
Throw it in the pile. Of course you will.
I don't want to say anything that's controversial. She did it, but I don't want. She was on it.
And more about measuring impact, reach, and political gain. And once that realization hit, a lot of things suddenly clicked into place. That's when people started looking back and asking why Charlie's parents didn't attend the memorial, why they stayed silent afterward, why there was no public unity moment. For many, it finally made sense. The silence wasn't confusion, it was distance. And if you've been watching what's happened at recent events, the story doesn't stop there. The tension hasn't cooled off. The questions haven't gone away. And the more people look back at those early warning signs, the harder it becomes to ignore what might still be unfolding right now. We've all seen it by now. Erica being lifted and tossed into crowds like it's a concert, not a memorial. That's hype culture, not mourning. And I don't know about you, but that's a level of grief most people have never seen before. It doesn't feel raw. It doesn't feel natural. It feels staged for applause. When you put everything together, the money, the audit talk, the leaked audio, the merch first mindset, it starts to explain why fans are walking away and why TPUSA events are getting boycotted. At this point, people aren't asking if something feels off. They're asking how much longer it can stay buried before it finally blows wide open. A lot of former supporters are now saying the same thing out loud, that Erica was never real, that the grief feels rehearsed, that the faith feels performative, that the tears don't land. Once people start seeing it that way, there's no rewind button. One comment that keeps popping up everywhere really says it all. Erica is a terrible actress. No one believes the fake Christian act. Harsh? Yes. But once that perception takes hold, there's no coming back from it. So the real question isn't whether Erica can survive another scandal. The real question is whether TPUSA can survive her, and whatever comes next after this chapter closes. Because one thing is crystal clear now, the audience isn't buying the act anymore. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who's been following this story, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I want to hear what you think, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.